Good evening, beautiful queens. Hi, everybody, and welcome to another inspiring Queen of Sales fireside chats. I'm Gift Anabel, and it's such an honor to be your host again for today's session. Before we dive into today's conversation, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge what Queen of Sales represents for the benefit of those who are just joining us for the first time. Queen of Sales is more than a platform. It's a global community that aims to elevate and empower women in sales. So whether you're just here or you're already a top tier executive, this is where you rightfully belong. I mean, it's a space where, women get to share their stories, encourage each other, inspire one another. In here, you'd find mentorship, you'd find networking opportunities, and we also have digital events like today's session. So no matter where you are in the world, you can always key in to learn and connect and also grow with us. Our theme for today is empowering women to unlock sales excellence. So, when we say empowering women, we mean giving women the tools, giving them the voice, the courage to take up spaces in sales, in leadership roles, and also in decision making roles. It's about breaking through bias, self doubt, and that imposter syndrome that often limits potential. And then when we talk about unlocking sales excellence, excellence is no longer just about quotas and performance. It's about relationship driven selling. It's about emotional intelligence. It's about strategic communication and long term value creation. So today's conversation celebrates the power, it celebrates the brilliance and the resilience of women, redefining what it means to truly succeed in sales. So we'll be speaking on topics around leadership, we'll be speaking on confidence and building relationships that go beyond transaction. The most exciting thing about today's session is that we have three powerful speakers, three phenomenal women who are not only leaders in their fields, but champions of transformation. So these are women who have mastered these traits and are here to share practical lessons from their journey. So together, we will unpack their stories, we'll unpack their strategies and insights to continue to shape the next generation of women in sales. So we'll be hearing from Chidinma, from Gift, and Bietrix. Each of them will bring unique perspectives on relationship building, on confidence, and redefining leadership in sales. So Chidinma will speak on relationship building, while Gift Temitope will speak on confidence. Beatrice will speak on redefining leadership in sales. So sit back, get your notepads, engage, and let's make this conversation one that ignites possibility. I would like to plead with everyone to kindly keep their mics muted, just so there's no obstruction. If you have any question during the course of this session, feel free to leave your questions in the chat. We'll have a session for Q&A. Also to mention that this session is being recorded, so you can always come back whenever you want to watch. Now let's dive into it. Our first speaker for today is one who truly understands the heart of sales, Chidinma Alugburu. She's a sales manager at Reckitt, a powerhouse known for transforming every client relationship into a story of growth and impact. She's a woman whose presence in the world of sales is nothing short of inspiring because she embodies what it means to lead with strategy, to lead with empathy and excellence. Chidinma is an experienced sales professional known for her ability to turn first-time clients into lifelong partners. Today, she'll be sharing on a topic that sits at the very heart of sales success, building client relationships that last and generate growth. So get ready to learn, be inspired, because when Chidinma speaks, she lights up the room, and trust me, her energy and wisdom absolutely unforgettable. So let's give a warm virtual round of applause for Chidinma. Hi, Chidinma. Good evening and nice to meet you.
Hi, Gift. Thank you so much. Can anyone
You're
hear me?
welcome.
Okay,
Yes, we
okay,
can
okay.
hear you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for the Queen of Sales Coordinators for this wonderful platform. Also, thank
You're
you
welcome.
to everyone that have actually joined this call. I just want to say a very big thank you for joining the call. My name once again is Chidinma Alugburu, a sales manager with Reckitt. I've actually worked with Reckitt for my sales career started with Reckitt um over, my sales career actually started 4 years ago with Reckitt, but before then I worked under as a contract staff with Reckitt in the northern market before I was actually moved to the eastern market. Presently, I'm actually in the Lagos market. So this program to me is actually designed to unlock sales excellence, in women. So the strategies to me are just the same everywhere. The strategies to me are just the same across market, across businesses. So sorry, I don't know what's across businesses. My light was apologize. Okay, let me just. So the strategies to me is the same across businesses, across markets, across anything you can call it. So I will actually be speaking on 5 points that have actually stood up for me over the years, and these 5 points are consistent communications and consistent communications slash follow-ups. The second one that have actually stood up for me again is active listening, personalize your interactions, and gathering feedback. Why the third one that I've also stood up for me over the years is proactive problem solving. I've also stood up for me over the years. The fourth one here is actually sharing market insights that benefits your clients. And the fifth one that I've also stood up for me here is a um, appreciative method. So the goal here is not just to make sales to me. To me, the goal here is not just to make sales, but creating long-lasting relationship where your clients or your customers sees you as indispensable and they're loyal to your brand. So I always have these four words at the back of my mind. I always have these four words at the back of my mind. So these are no relationship, no account growth, no retention, no results. So these are no retention, no results. Clients, long-term clients are absolutely, to me, they're absolutely good. They saves you a lot of time. So having long-term customer relationship, they save you a lot of time than going over and again to chasing new leads. They are consistent. They are more reliable. The incomes are very, very predictable. So and so instead of chasing new leads, instead of chasing new customers, why not kind of nurture or turn these existing customers and nurture them, build them and nurture them into a long-time client that generates consistent incomes. Building and maintaining customer relationship to me is not just a business strategy, but a philosophy that drives a long-term success. And trust me, building this customer relationship or long-term customer relationship is not always easy to come by. It's not always easy to come by. It takes a while. It takes a period of time to actually build. But for every effort put into it, it's worth it. So long-term customer relationship is the key to growth. And also having being in a highly competitive market, being in a highly competitive environment, satisfying customers isn't just enough to kind of guarantee that they will come back to you, guarantee that they will make repeated purchase. So you need to go above and beyond, exceeding customers' expectations. So this long-term customer relationship is actually what sets you apart as a strategic partner, not just as a strategic partner where your client sees you not just a mere vendor, but they see you as indispensable and they are loyal to your company and they are loyal to your brand. So, like I said, the goal here is not just to make sales. The goal here is to build long-term client relationship where your client sees you as indispensable. So one of the strategies that have worked for me over the years is consistent communication, like I mentioned earlier, and slash follow-ups. I said earlier that in a highly competitive environment, in a highly competitive market, satisfying your customers isn't just enough to make them have repeated purchases, to make them come back to you. You need to go over and above, exceeding their expectations. And this communications, just like in a normal communication, just like in a normal communication, in a normal relationship, business relationship requires communication, So most of us, the tendency, I always say this thing, the tendency within amongst us salespeople is that we just want to get in there, make sales, move to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, without actually maximizing the value of this relationship and turn them into long-term income. So instead of always replacing your customers, going about looking for new leads, looking for new customers, why not build and nurture these existing customers and turn them into consistent income? I always say this, I always tell my team that it's easier to sell to an existing customer than to sell to a new customer. Because what do I mean by this? An existing customer already understands your brand, already knows you, already understand, have a product knowledge around your product. But a new customer, you just need to go back there again, introduce yourself, introduce your product, introduce, educate them on the product knowledge, and at the long run, they might not even key in immediately. They might not even, it might even take a while before they even key in. But an existing customer already is easier to kind of develop this existing customer into coming back to you, into making repeated purchases. And this can just be as simple as a follow-up call, as simple as consistent communications around this follow-up calls, such as, hi, how are you doing? I just called to know, is there any way I can help you? Is there any way I can actually provide any help to you? What's working, what's not working? Is there any way I can actually improve on the things that we've done before? What about how is the product that I sold to you last? How is the how about the product I sold to you? How did it work? Did it work for you? Etc. Etc. So by actually doing this is not actually by actually doing this, you're also telling the customer that you care about them, you have them at the top of your mind, that you want them to succeed. You want them to succeed. So that's just what is also all about. So for every call, you just also have to have at the back of your mind that for every call you make, for every follow-up, it's not because you want to pressure these customers into making repeated purchases, into pressuring them into pushing more sales. These follow-up calls are designed to also enable the customer know that you have them at the top of your mind, you want them to succeed, you value them. So if you going there as a salesperson, as a business, going there every time you make this follow-up calls, every time you call these customers at the back of you, if you going there is just to push in more sales, this is where most of our customers get disconnected. They disconnect from us and they start dodging our calls, because at the top of their mind is all about pushing in, is all about buy, buy, buy. And you see them, they will just be disconnecting from you, and they will just, and this at the long run will not strengthen the relationship you're actually trying to build. So for you to actually have the make these customers understand that you have them at the top of your mind, you value their efforts, you value them as your customers. You need to always follow or do a follow-up call. Just ensure that you're consistently at the top of their minds, and ensure that they know you value them. So before you know it, these customers tend to come back to you doing repeated purchases. These customers tend to be retained, tend to come back to you and be retained, doing repeated purchases, even when you didn't call them, even when you're not calling them for more orders. So to me, consistent communication and follow-ups is one of the biggest strategy to um, ensuring retention and ensuring growth. So the second one on my list is active listening, personalized interactions slash gather feedback. So this to me is actually a very, very unique one, because I believe every customer is unique. Their needs are unique. Their concerns are unique, their expectations are unique. So you need to listen to what they're saying, how they're saying it. And when you do this, it helps you to set the right tone into building a better engagement strategy with this customer. That matches a better engagement strategy that matches their concerns, that matches their needs, and that matches their expectations. Most times, whenever I visit my customers, or whenever I make a call or tend to actually be around my customers, I always go with this notepad. This actually helps me to not just because I want to take down their orders. This helps me to be able to um, take down every detail of the discussion, and take down every detail of the discussion. And the next step is to providing solutions and recommendations that matches or that actually helps resolve their needs or resolve their expectations or resolve each of their concerns when next I visit them, or when next I make a call, or when next I just have the chance to also visit these customers. So most customers, you also need to understand that these customers, most of them have different needs. Most of your customers, some want to get a lot of personal contact with the business. Some just want to place their order and go about their day. Some just want to. Some are just looking for the bells, the jiggles, everything, all the happenings in the company. You just, as a salesperson, you just have to keep listening. You just have to keep listening to understand their needs, to understand their individual needs, thereby tailoring or kind of providing solutions and recommendations that aligns with their needs. So to me, understanding that different customers with different needs, so helps you to also pay attention to each of the customers and understand how to also tailor and align to the needs of this customers. So that's by doing this as a salesperson, you tend to also position yourself as a trusted partner, not just a salesperson. This customer understands that you have their needs at heart. This customer knows that, oh, this person understands or values us. So you position yourself as a trusted person. And in the long run, this also creates a better retention. This creates a better way to also retain these customers and also generate growth in the near future. So the third one on my list here is proactive problem solving. So to me, this particular strategy actually helps to build a deeper trust and also customer satisfaction. So the understanding that problems will inevitably arise and occur in every business relationship. So, but what sets you apart as a business, what sets you apart as a company, is the what sets you apart as a company is how you address this and resolve these issues timely. These problems can actually be in different ways, can actually come in different ways. Maybe expired product in the hands of your customers. It can actually be as a result of your customer need more credit limit. So it can actually also be as a result your customer high stock inventory, whatever it says, they need timely interventions, some sellout materials. So being able to proactively provide solutions, seeking solutions demonstrate commitment. And what this does is also it builds a better bond. It builds a better customer retention. So these customers tend to also know that, like I said, that you value them, that you also have them at the top of your mind. And at the long run, retention happens, long-lasting customer relationship happens, which also generates growth. And if I would say that every negative experience with a customer is actually an opportunity to turn it into to turn it into is an opportunity for you to turn it into a strategy that strengthens the relationship. So when a customer has a negative experience, you can actually use the opportunity to step in and turn that negative experience into an opportunity to strengthen the relationship, thereby having more retention purposes with these customers. Okay, so like I earlier listed, so the fourth one on my list here, I would say, is sharing market insights that which benefits your customers. So sharing these market insights can actually be both internal and external insights. So salespeople or sales professionals must learn to shift their focus from just pushing in products to at every given opportunity to truly adding value. And adding value can actually be understanding what drives your customer, understanding what your customer wants to achieve, and also sharing insights that will help them succeed, that will help them resolve that issue. Every salesperson is a wealth of knowledge, and this also brings me to also telling most of our sales professionals we need to always develop ourselves. We need to keep developing ourselves within our functions, outside our functions, so that we can actually make a real impact, so that we can actually add more value whenever we actually speaking with our clients, whenever we're also engaging with our clients, because they just want to know what we know. They just want to actually hear from us. They want to know what we know. So a sales professional understand that real value isn't just about pushing in products. It's about is about helping your customers to succeed. And this is where I always come in with is a win-win strategy. You're helping your customer to succeed, and this brings about a balance, a win-win strategy. So be insightful as a salesperson. Be insightful. Talk to your customer about the about about promotions going on in your company. Talk to them about when to invest, when not to invest. Talk to them about the industrial trends. Talk to them about the market trend, the competitive trend, anything that can benefit them. With this, you position yourself as a knowledgeable partner, where your client sees you as a knowledgeable partner and not just a salesperson. And with this, you see this customer proactively or keep seeking your input. Keep seeking your input anytime the customer wants an advice. You see the customer reaching out to you. How can I do this better? How can I do this? So by leading with insights, focusing on relationship, and continuously adding value, you position yourself as a trusted or as a strategic partner. And this also brings about more retention. So clients are more likely to renew and expand their contracts whenever they see value. I'll always tell a story around this. So I have this one of my biggest customers in the East market. So this customer has a lot of brands that they import from China. So whenever I make a call or whenever I visit him, I don't just talk about what the happenings around my company, what's going on, what he needs to, because he also has a brand he needs to push into the market. He also has a brand that you need to put at the top of the minds of his customers. So I always go to him, not just about my company. I always try to engage him about his competitors, what his competitors are doing, what is happening in the market, how he can actually stay on top of the minds of his customers. And with this, we actually built a more strategic partnership. So this customer most often, whenever it got to a point that whenever he wants to send some designs or some formulations to China, he will kind of call me, Chidinma, can you just look at this? I just want to actually, I just want to stay on top of the well, I just want to still be the leading brand in the market. I just want to match the be over and above my competitors. Just look at this, and we just align. And trust me, with this kind of insight, it tends to also not just for the immediate, it also opens doors for opportunities, for more opportunities and collaborations in the near future. So that's to me on sharing insight. And the final one on my list here is appreciative method. So this the list can actually go on and on and on and on. But like I said, these five have also stood out for me over the years. So using appreciative method, so showing appreciation for the trust placed in your company, not just for the trust shows you, not just because you want to incentivize this customer, but this also helps in strengthening the bond between you and your client. And understanding that you as a business, you as a company, you are in a market that is highly competitive. So in a market that is highly competitive, so being is very crucial to understand that to be on top of your customer's mind, to actually set yourself apart, to also allow your customer to keep choosing your brand. You need to also develop some loyalty programs, and these loyalty programs, like I said, it's not just because you want to incentivize these customers, but you want to keep yourself on the minds of these customers. You want to tell them to keep choosing your brand. And this in these loyalty programs can actually be in the form of early purchase discounts, can actually be in the form of bulk purchase discounts, can also be monthly incentive, quarterly incentive, or yearly rewards. This not just because you want to incentivize them, but you want to place yourself, want to keep yourself on top of your customer's mind, and also keep telling them to keep choosing your brand. In summary, I would say that building long-term client relationship is actually stands on two components. So the first one here is trust, and the second one here is communication. Remember, like I said initially, the goal here isn't just to make sales. The goal here is to build long-term client relationship where your client sees you as indispensable and they are loyal to your brand. They keep choosing your brand. They keep choosing your company. Thank you so much, Kate.
Thank you so much, Chidinma. Thank you very much. That was such an insightful one, very powerful one. Very, very powerful. Thank you. I mean, I would say that you have reminded us that relationships are the real currency in sales. And that's consistency and empathy are what makes clients stay. You also mentioned staying consistent, being consistent with communication. You mentioned active listening. You mentioned gathering feedbacks and being insightful about our product. You also mentioned being appreciative to our customers. Thank you very much. I also agree with something that you said. You said that it's actually very easy, to sell to a repeat client than to a new client because this returning client is only coming back to you because they trust you. They've tested your product, they've tried you, and they already have this trust for you. And that's why they came back to you. People may forget what you said to them, but they can never forget how you made them feel. Thank you very much for that wonderful presentation. So we'll now move on to questions. I did mention earlier, because we have three speakers, and when we introduce the first speaker presents, and then we'll have a session for Q&A. So if there's any question that you have for Chidinma before we call on the next speaker, kindly raise your hands and your question, or you can leave it in the chat if you don't want to speak. So while we wait for others, I have three questions that I wrote down that I would like to ask. So in a world where clients have endless options, there are options everywhere, right? So in this world where there are options everywhere and clients have endless options, what truly differentiates a lasting client relationship from a transactional one? I think you're muted. I think your mic is muted.
Okay, sorry.
Yes.
So, like I said earlier, so the what actually differentiates a long-lasting customer from a transactional one? I said earlier. So this whole points I've actually made mention here are interwoven. They are all what can actually differentiate a lasting customer from a transactional ones. Like I said, there is one point I made mention: the consistent communication and um, follow up. So I made mention that most often the tendency within us salespeople is that we just want to get in there, make sales, move on and move on. So that's transactional. So for this relationship, for this particular particular relationship to move from just transactional to a lasting one, you need to build a deeper um, relationship with these customers, which I mentioned one of them is consistent communication and follow up. So you need to also call on these customers, not just because you want to pressure them into purchasing, and not just because you want to pressure them into making more purchase, but you just want to um, get them to know that you value them, you have them at the top of your mind, you just want to get about what is happening around your product. Are they selling? What is also happening? Do they need some information, some education across your brands? You want to educate them. So just consistent follow-ups, building this relationship over time also ensures that it's no longer this customer sees it that it's no longer transactional. They are not just one of your pipelines, that you just have them at the top of your mind. And like I said, when it moves from just transactional is just when the customer just wants to just this customer just wants to buy or make purchases because they just you approach them, but it becomes a long lasting relationship because the customer now sees value. This customer now they are loyal to your brand. You become indispensable to them. They know what they value your brand. They value what they get from your customer. They value the relationship you have with them. So it becomes this kind of long lasting relationship to me generates or transforms into growth over time because they are consistent. It becomes a predictable income, not just transactional one now. I don't know if I answered your question.
Yes, yes, you actually did. You actually did. You already spoke about consistent communication and actively listening to them, calling on them to check up on them and or whatnot. So now I want to talk about mistakes because I mean, sometimes some sales people make mistakes, So what are some subtle mistakes sales professionals make that unintentionally weaken client relationships, and how can they rebuild that trust again?
Okay, so sorry, come again. I am trying to digest what you said.
Okay. So what are some subtle mistakes sales professionals make unintentionally that can weaken client relationship, and how can they rebuild the trust again?
Okay, so I will make mention one of the biggest or one of the mistakes we sales professional makes that actually weakens relationship is not being proactive in problem solving. Most times our clients want to build a deeper bond, want to build a deeper trust to us. But if we are not proactive, maybe just because the customer, we tend to just overlook, we tend to just maybe because you actually not you didn't just value that customer, or I don't know what, but every customer to me is a gold, and especially when I'm trying to turn that customer into a lasting one. So you tend to be proactive. So if that mistake has been made in the past, you can actually correct it, and you can actually rebuild that trust. Like I said initially, every bad experience with a customer is actually an opportunity to strengthen the relationship. So if that has actually been a mistake in the past, you can also look forward to impacting. You can also look forward to rebuilding the mistakes, and also trying to also make the customer understand that you are top of my mind. You are the reason why we are here, so that the customer can also. It's something that can take over time, because I know trust can always take over time. But why trying to also, the customer can also see through you see through you, or see through what you are trying to offer. Probably the mistake was as a result you were not able to actually come up with a timely interventions, and you were able to explain it to the customer. So next time, trying to avoid this, you need to always be proactive in problem solving, because these are things that inevitably happen among business relationships. So we should always aspire, we should always understand that problems can always come up, problems can always exist, and look for ways to always making the customer to getting these customers problem solved. Let me just put it that way. So that's just one. That's just the major one. Always, most times,
Mhm.
not being able to. So another one that can always happen is always not. Maybe most times we get to our customers, we are not, we get to our customers are actually trying to, I said, in the active listening, customers are unique, their concerns are unique, their needs are unique, their expectations are unique. So you tend to listen to them, what they're saying, and how they are saying it. So we always in a haste as salespeople to just move on. We're always in a haste to actually leave. We're always in a haste to actually go to the next person, to the next person, to the next person. But paying attention to, so whenever you get to your customer, you need to pay attention. You need to just give them all your attention to be able to understand what their pain points are, to be able to understand their needs, and also provide solutions that aligns with their needs. So when you are not actually paying attention, and the customers are actually listing their concerns. So next time when you get to them, they feel you don't value them. They feel you don't, their concerns, their needs are not your top priority. You see them start disconnecting, you see them start dodging your calls, you see them start giving you excuses because they feel they are not top of your list, they're not on the top of your mind, their needs doesn't matter, maybe their voice doesn't count to you, maybe you have more important clients that you want to talk to. So always listening to customers. Whenever you are with your customers, or whenever you make a call, ensure that you are listening, and ensure that you are paying attention to the ones that are saying, how they are saying it, because most times their body language can also be saying something else. So you need to pay attention and understand what their concerns are, understand their needs, and also the next step is to also provide solutions that can align with their needs. So we need to also do that. So these 2 points to me are the mistakes. So there can be a lot more, but they are the mistakes we mostly do as salespeople.
Thank you so much, Chidinma, for this powerful and very insightful presentation. Thank you very much. So moving to the next speaker. Now, while we understand that relationships are the foundation, right? There's another key ingredient that fuels every great sales story, and that is confidence. So, confidence is what allows you to show up, stay resilient through rejection, and still believe in your value even when the results take time. Our next speaker, Gift Temitope-Amusan, is a powerhouse in the world of sales. So she's a strategic sales manager and expert in road to market and channel management. She's known for driving growth and redefining what it means to sell with confidence. Today, she'll be speaking on unlocking the confidence advantage in sales. Temitope embodies that confidence. She's not the loud kind, but the authentic and grounded kind that comes from the self-awareness and consistency. So she'll be sharing insights on how sales professionals can build long and lasting confidence from inside out, especially in high pressure moments. Her speaking promises to be very inspiring. It promises to empower and to ignite your inner drive. Let's give a warm virtual round of applause for Gifts Temitope. Hi, Gifts. Good evening.
Hi, Gifts. Good evening.
Hi, it's so amazing to hear somebody, a gift, call me gifts. Hi,
I
nice to
know,
meet
right?
you.
Yeah, good
Nice to meet you,
evening, baby.
gifts. Yes,
Yeah, good
please.
evening, Queen. Yeah,
Good
thank
evening.
you,
So
King of
you,
Sales, for this.
mhm. Yeah, so you have
Yeah,
the floor. You will be speaking on unlocking the confidence advantage in sales. Thank you.
all right. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Queen of Sales, for this great honor. I'm happy to be here. It's a pleasure. Speaking on the topic unlocking the confidence advantage in sales. Yeah. And for me, it resonates because coming into sales as somebody that is not quite confident in her abilities, maybe because of the way people see females in sales, what can she do? What does she bring to the table? They have to be liked before they can even hear what they have to say, not looking at the competence that they are bringing to the table. So it resonates deeply with me. Yeah. And I'll just share a bit of story before I just go into it. Yeah. And I will just ask a question before then. How many of us have gone maybe for a sales presentation or come out of a customer's store and begins to question, did I say the right thing? I should have said something. I should have said this. I don't fuck up. Those sort of situations, we all go through it, particularly for women. Yeah, because we come out soft, emotional, and the likes. Yeah, so we begin to question our competence. But again, confidence is not it's not something that we are born with. It's a skill. It's a skill that we develop over time. And it is two ways, yeah? It's the way the customer sees you and how you also unlock the customer to then begins to see what you have come to sell. So confidence is the foundation of trust in sales. Without confidence in yourself as a person, nobody's even going to listen to the product you have brought to sell. Without confidence in yourself, you're not going to nobody will listen to you. The influence you are not going to influence even your team members because you are not confident in your abilities, in your values, and in your values and in your expertise. So a quick story. I started off my sales career. Okay, let me do a quick introduction to myself. I just delved in. My name is Gift. I am a sales manager with Unilever for 9 years. I started my career as a sales supervisor in Ekiti, Ado Ekiti precisely, where I learned a lot of what I know today because the sales team I managed were able to pull me through on a number of things. Yeah. And then I moved from Ekiti to Lagos after childbirth. And it's as though I'd forgotten everything I learned. And then I was picking up my pieces and having male bosses always threatening. That made me scared and I became afraid. But I think after a year or two, I had a female line manager who, when we have one-on-one conversations, she sees that this girl is quite knowledgeable. You actually know what you're doing because we talk. Then why is that when you stand out to talk, you're not confident in yourself? What exactly is it? So she advised I get a mentor, took on some coaching courses, enrolled for seminar, webinar, particularly tilted towards women in sales. I listened to podcasts, and then I begin to see like every woman that I've listened to had this stage fright, imposter syndrome, self-doubt. So so I normalized my feelings and began to speak either way. So I realized that confidence is not saying the right thing. It's not knowing everything, but it's about trusting in yourself to figure it out, no matter how. Yeah. So why does confidence matter in sales? We'll ask ourselves. Is the engine that drives persuasion. Because if you're not confident in the product that you have brought, on how you pass the information to the customer, they will not buy the product from you. So the most successful people in sales are not just skilled, they are self-assured. So that's after that session and all, and that's how my growth came. I moved from an officer to a manager, got promoted twice, did a national role, and now I have people reporting to me. So it starts off with being self-assured, believing in yourself, normalizing every barriers, every bias that everybody goes through this. That's the starting point of sales and being successful. So people don't just buy the best products, they buy salesperson. So I remember then in when I go to trade to meet with top wholesalers as a newbie, my words are not well seasoned in such a way that because they have more knowledge than me, I don't know how to tell the story of the product about the brand, the benefit of the brand, the profit margin, those financial terms. So they tend to not want to listen. But when I go with my KD manager and I see how we press this, so when you buy this is the discount you will get, this is how much you're going to sell it, this is the profit you're going to get. Oh, this is how this conversation goes. So what did he do to me? The first step is preparation. So before I go to any customer, I will prepare. So the first step to unlocking confidence is preparation. Preparation. So there's this thing when when I started attending one of my church today, I used to then paste it around everywhere. Preparation, proper preparation prevents poor performance. Oh, so I can also prepare to see a customer, not just from my guts, my instincts or my intuitions. So before I go to a customer, I look at the customer's previous year data. How many cases did you buy last year? What activities were we doing that same period last year? So when I go with such data, you did this last year, expectation that is that you will grow this year. This is what we have currently now. They are more interested because I'm coming from a data as something that they relate with. And then so you prepare. And then second one is practice. So before I even came here, I had rehearsed. We cannot take away practice from what we do as a salesperson. We have weekly meetings. We have monthly meetings. We pitch to other businesses, bigger business, B2B, when you manage the key account, you practice your speech. You practice what the kind of benefits you're going to sell to these customers. Know the products, know the customer, and know your pitch. Role play objections because customers will just throw it at you. There are times where you go to customers with an innovation, and the innovation is coming at a very high price, and they throw it to you. There's a problem with the pricing. Rather than argue the objection, you ask them a question: what is wrong with the pricing? That way, they are able to throw more light for you to understand exactly what in the pricing is happening. So if you don't have this objections role play, you will get to the store and then you begin to struggle. Then sales become a problem. And then you begin to explain, you begin to explain performances and all of that. But once you have practiced, before going to the customer, before going for any sales presentation, you check the data properly. So data is the engine room for preparation. Get access to data. Look at your numbers clearly and understand it. And it's not something you just glance and go. Sometimes 2 hours, you read it like you're preparing for an exam. And then you redefine your delivery. The way you pass the message. There are industry languages that is expected of a sales manager. Let's say for somebody like me in the FMCG space, I'm going to a key account customer to ask them to list an innovation. I need to go to such stores with, first off, I'll give them the samples. Before launch, we would have listed in all of those stores, giving them the products for listing because they have to key it into their system and all of that. So there are things we have to do before we even put the product on shelf. The last thing for this formula confidence is mindset. For a salesperson that wants to grow on this career, you need to have a positive mindset. Focus on solution. Sales is a game and we need to play the game. Very dynamic. You are not likely to predict it because the economy, the external factors, the weather can affect it. So rather than dwelling on the problem, begin to see the problem as opportunity area. Where a particular brand is not selling, what can we do with another brand? Where a particular SKU, possibly OOS, out of stock, what do you do with what is available? Focus on solution. Once you are solution-oriented as a salesperson, it builds some level of confidence in you. You're going to the customers, you're going to your line managers with the right conversation, and do not fear for rejection. Do not fear for rejection because so I'll share a story on this rejection. Myself and one of my territory manager, the KD manager, and somebody from supply chain followed us. We went to a customer's outlet, and while we're in the car, the TM said, I'll be calling this customer, she's not picking. I don't know what we'll do. I said, we will go there. That's how the person from another function said, we are calling somebody, the person is not going. Why are you going to see the customer? I said, we don't take no for an answer in sales, though. We don't take no. In fact, that rejection is the fuel to come every day. You tell me no, you will see me every day. The customers, they know me. You tell me no, I'm in your store every day of the week. You will just bulge because I know what I'm bringing for you. And I don't let you bully me away from your store. Yes, the tone might not be nice. They might talk you off. You might get... but I've learned not to take whatever a customer says to me personal because by the time we crack the wall, we'll have a smooth relationship. Yeah, so what really is the confidence advantage in sales? Your approach to prospects more easily. You approach prospects more easily when you are confident in yourself. Like I just said, you won't take no, you know you trust in your values, you trust in your expertise, you trust that because you have a track record of successes that you have built. So it's a lot more easier. You even get more recommendations. She's very competent. She knows her onion. She's very hands-on. You know, it is a lot more easier for prospects. You handle objections without panic. So on this sales job, there are challenges here and there, but it is building the confidence muscle that we are developing on the job. Again, a story in, I think 2022, there's a distributor of ours at Fredcy. Then whatever we are driving as a business. Am I still audible? Oh, my network just showed.
Yes, you are. You are. We can hear you very well. You are.
Thank you. Thank you. So I had a customer that was very, 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 very objective. And early on that year, I think I fell sick twice because of the situation of the distributor. But I told my line manager, don't take me out of this distributor because there's something I'm supposed to learn here that I've not learned. And if I don't learn it, I'm not going to leave. And she was shocked. But you're falling sick twice. I said, I'll be fine. I'll be fine. Today, that distributor, whatever decision she wants to make in the business, she calls me. I say, Gift, I'm trying to do this. Okay, so there's this product there's an international product I'm trying to bring in. And she's like, should I go into? Say, yes, for the kind of market that you have in your territory. This product will actually do well. Why? Because she has seen me demonstrate some level of objection handling. I did not run. I stayed. Yeah. So the third confidence advantage is close deals without conviction, because you know that you have demonstrated this thing before. Fourth one is you build trust faster. When your customers trust in what you have said because of your confidence level, they'll trust you. There's no distributor of mine today that I pick up my phone and call and say, this is what we are doing. This is what we are doing. We are giving you this also stock, even though it wasn't in your order for the week, but we have planned for it next month. They'll say, okay, we will say you said so. So because they have seen me exude this level of confidence, which I learned over the years by listening to by having a mentor that walked me through that part. So then what's the fifth one? You inspire your team and customers alike. So for this inspiration of team, I have, so we have area managers that report to RSN. Other team members come to me. Yeah, because they have seen the confidence. So again, confidence. So what exactly kills confidence? Like I said from the beginning, this topic resonates with me because it's something that I have grown out of. Then the first one is the common confidence killers is fear of rejection. I used to be very scared, very scared. What if I say the wrong thing? What if I go there and what I'm saying is not making sense? Or I go there and the customer yells at me and say, get out of here, which has actually happened before, but I went back. The second one is negative self-talk. I'm not good for anything. I'm not sure I'm not sure we can close these deals. This month, this target is too high. There's no way we'll deliver it. Where are we going to sell this stock? You know, those sort of conversations that we say to ourselves unconsciously are actually killing our confidence. Lack of preparation. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. While I was in those moments of my downs where I wasn't very clear on how my numbers were being delivered and all of that, what one of my mentors taught me to do was, at the end of every week, like a Friday, Saturday, sit down, pull the report for the week, pick it on a daily basis based on the KPIs that you have laid down for you in your organization. Are you tracking coverage, distribution? Are you tracking sales? Are you tracking any promotions? Look at what you sold on a daily basis. What customer bought? Who are the top 80, the top 20 contributing 80% of your numbers? Those sort of preparations fuel confidence. What again is a confidence killer? Comparing yourself to others. So you see you're in trade, what is your competition doing? Rather than focusing on the benefit of your product, you're allowing yourself to be dissuaded by what competition is doing in trade. That should not be your focus. Yes, get the knowledge, get the feedback, get the competitor insight, take it back to your company, share the feedback, but don't dwell on it at the point of conversation with your customer. Even if they say your competition is doing X, Y, Z, this is the benefit of my product. Leave it at that. It shows you are confident because you're not triggered by what other people are doing, even if they outsmart or outdo what you're doing. Maybe they are giving you a 20% discount and your company is doing a 5% discount. Stand on your 5% discount. Don't even badmouth the 20% discount. Don't badmouth it. It's not your concern. Don't compare. Do not compare. And then what kills confidence is holding on to past failures. Maybe there were a time where you did not meet a certain number, or you had gone to a customer and the customer, you tried your best, you spoke, you even gave the customer samples and the customer did not, but move on. Just move on. You need to demonstrate resilience at that point. Don't dwell on it. So I'll go again. So I'll move to the next one, building daily confidence habits. I'm a Christian, by the way, and I believe in affirmations. I believe in my words of my mouth. So before I leave my house every day, there's an affirmation I write and I say. So every year my church has a covenant exchange, we say. And for this year is great things shall continue to happen on their own accord in my life. I make sure I say that every day. So there are morning affirmations you tell yourself. Before I go to trade, I tell myself this visit is going to be productive. I'm having a very productive day. So that's so you have fueled yourself that today, no matter what happens, even if I go to 10 customers and 2 is productive, I've checked it. The second one is daily learning. Learn daily. Read, listen to podcasts while you journey to work. Take time out to understand your product knowledge. So we have product detailers. You read the products that you're going to sell. If you're in the banking industry, if you're in the oil and gas, what are the benefits? What differentiates your product from your competition? Know it like a book. Prepare like you're writing for an exam. Then the third one is track small wins. I had a journal from 2023, 2024, and this year. Any project I complete, I pen it down. It might not be perfect. I might have started it and done 50%. I will write it down. I'm supposed to have 50 perfect store this year. I've done just 20. It's a progress. I'm supposed to deliver innovation into 500 stores and I've sold into 250, 300 stores. Note it down because your line manager will not remember this. Nobody's coming to remind you of what you have achieved. So by the time you sit down and you are able to see the value that you have brought in at the end of the day, at the end of the week, at the end of the month, at the end of the quarter, at the end of the year, it fuels your confidence into the following year. Then surround yourself with confident people. I can never overemphasize the importance of having the right people in your circle. In my journey to building confidence, in 2023, there was a lady that joined us from the head office to the field. And the way she speaks, I'm like, babe, you know the fear. She say fear waiting. No. You don't do that. You will say, even though if you're, see, come and see my palms. My palms are sweaty. I'm shaking. But I will say that and I will stand on it. I will say it and I will stand. I'm not afraid. I might be shaking, my hand might be sweaty. But the truth is that everybody that stands there to speak, everybody that goes there to speak, have that fear. So once you have somebody that is cheering you up, so you have the confident person that is giving you that quote and unquote ginger, it gives you that level of confidence to do and exceed your set KPIs. Then how do you handle rejection with confidence? Knowing fully well in your mind that rejections will happen from time to time. But how do we handle it? Number one, every no is a step to a close yes. Every no. The customer that said no today will say yes tomorrow. The customer that said no for 6 months will one day say yes. You keep texting the customer. When there's a promotion, you text the customer. When there's a price increase, you text the customer. When there's a channel-specific promotion, you text the customer. When there's an activity, there's an engagement for wholesaler, retailer, you text the customer, you invite the customer. Knowing fully well that this customer has said no, one day, the customer will say yes. The second one to handling rejection is to detach self-worth from outcome. This is just in plain language. Don't take anything personal. This month, you went to a store that is supposed to deliver 500 million. The store delivered 250 million. And then you're beginning to question your credibility. You're beginning to doubt yourself. I can't believe it. I have failed. No, 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 no. You are not your last sales. You are not your last sales. They might tongue lash you. They might scold you. You might be the topic of the discussion in the next meeting. But you are not your last sales. You will come out of it. So while we live here, I just want us to reflect every day. What can I learn? What can I tweak? And what went well? These questions, for me, are what keeps me going. Confidence. Because I know I've learned something new each day. Coming out from each store, I keep learning. I remember one time my director would say, "You're always learning, you're always learning, you're always learning." I say, "Yes, the day you stop learning, you start dying." He chuckled. And then I keep asking myself, okay, they've said we should go this direction. If I go this direction, will it work? What works? And then at the end of the day, at the end of every conversation, I ask myself, what went well? Another one is what did not go well, or what can we do better? So for handling rejection with confidence, so have this at the back of your mind. Confidence grows every time you try again. It's a muscle. It's a muscle. Confidence is a muscle. Confidence is a muscle that keeps growing, that keeps growing, that keeps growing. It's like an athlete that trains for 4 years for a 20 seconds race. That's what confidence is. You keep learning, you keep training, you keep practicing, you keep having a positive mindset and confessing positive. That's how confidence is built. Unlocking confidence amongst your team. Keep sharing success stories. Share success stories. Encourage open feedback and learning. I am a person of feedback. I see feedback as a gift. Constructive feedback, I take criticism, I sit back, I reflect, I take the good one, I turn the bad one away. And I've taught my team the same. You want to have confidence. There are things you don't see through your lens that people see. You ask questions, you ask feedback, you take it, and then celebrate effort, not just results. You see somebody that you see your team member that is always about calling you, making effort, going to customers, pitching customers, sharing price lists, promotions, and even if the results are not coming, the numbers might not be showing, encourage the salesperson, your team member. Then build a confidence culture. There's something we call psychological safety in my office. We lift each other up. Yeah, you're vulnerable to come to me to say, I'm struggling in this place. I think I'm not, my confidence, I don't feel I'm confident enough in this area. Please help me. We have that thing. So it's something we want to build. So lastly, the confidence reset. When doubt creeps in, remember why you started. What's your purpose? Why did you come into sales? Why am I doing this? So once you clearly articulate your why, you're able to begin to reset your confidence. You ask yourself again, who have I helped? I have a couple of mentees today that from time to time, we have our sessions and I ask them, where were you from? So we have weekly tasks. At the end of the week, they send me a rundown on a spreadsheet, what they have achieved for the week, what they have done for the week. That way, they are also seeing the value that they are bringing, their competence and their expertise, so that they speak more confidently and then celebrate how far you've come. So to just close it up, I'll just drop an acronym to end it, yeah? 6 habits I can use to sell that fuels confidence. So number 1, the I is I'm responsible for my results and I adapt to system and structure. Personal responsibility is what breeds confidence. The second one is C, consistency. Is a habit of self-worth. Never doubt your self-worth. The more you do hard things, the more your self-worth begins to grow. The third one, the A, have an attitude of excellence. Cross all the I's, dot all the T's, attention to details. Attention to details. Be a person that they can say, go to this person, go to gifts. We trust her judgment. The fourth one is N, natural geniuses. There's a secret source that has been placed in you. It's only you that have it. I want to ask you today, I'll invite you to have a self-reflection, to ask yourself, what's that unique source that only me has that I'll begin to show the world today, that I will use to unlock the sales advantage, the confidence advantage that will now drive growth for me in sales. The third one is habits of self-discipline. I learned something, I think a few days back while I was scrolling, that one of the traits of self-discipline is appetite. If we're able to control our appetite, yeah, we're able to then drive self-discipline. The S is be self-discipline, self-driven, I mean. Eliminate distractions. Today, we're in a world where mindless scrolling is happening. We get to work, we're a bit of distracted. We greet here, go there, rather than focusing on the core job. So there's something I do to eliminate distractions for me. Yeah, I start off my day very early as 7, and I learned it from one of my line manager. As early as 7, when people are communing, are still on their way to work, you started your work already, you've gotten to work, you set the tone. Between 7 to 9, you've done all the pre-work you're supposed to do, check the mails, report you're supposed to send, plan for the day, and all of that. Between 9 to 10, we do weekly, every morning review the team. 11 to 12, go to trade. 12 to 2, 2, I'm done. And then I begin to follow up on all of the tasks I've given to people to do. So because you know that your day is, you have assigned tasks to each time, task by time, yeah? So you have time to also do some personal stuff. So be self-driven, so much so that you eliminate distraction. And lastly, again, is excellence. We can never overemphasize excellence as a salespeople. So that's it for stay confident, stay consistent, and success will follow. Thank you.
Thank you. Enjoyed the session.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank
If
you.
Thank you. I think that was very insightful and powerful. And two things you mentioned, you said proper preparation, of course, prepares proper performance. And when you also said poor preparation prevents proper performance. So this actually resonates with me. I think something I've personally experienced is that I found out that, when you know your products, like when you're very, very sure about your products, you know your value and your why, confidence flows naturally, right? So it's not even about being the loudest in the room. It's about knowing that, you belong in that room. Knowing your why means having a clear sense of purpose and understanding why you do what you do, beyond titles, beyond targets, or money. For instance, let's say in sales, if your why to you is just to hit targets, I feel rejection can easily break your spirits, right? But if your why is to help people find the right solution, so every conversation becomes meaningful and your confidence grows naturally from that. Thank you very much, Gift. It was very, 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 very insightful. I think I have some questions in the chats, so I'll just read them out for you. I also have my question for you, but let me just go with what I have in the chat. So Eteka says, Can she share some of the resources she mentioned that helped her in her journey of building confidence?
No, please take that again. I didn't get it.
She
Can I
said,
share?
can you
Okay.
share some of the resources that has helped you in your journey in building confidence? What has helped you build confidence?
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Good question. All right. So the first step was for me to get a mentor. Yeah, because a mentor is someone that is way ahead of you. My mentor at the time, or current is still my mentor, is a retired sales director. So she actually she's a female, so she understands my pain points. And then she was able to, talk me out of that space. And there was something she said that makes me, she told me that you will go to meetings and you will not talk. That, am I a furniture? Oh my God. That alone, that you have, God has deposited something in you. So you need to start to use it. You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. So that alone was confidence number one. Then number two, there was this session that one lady, I don't know, you can just follow her post on LinkedIn, Gloria Edozian. So she was doing some webinars, free webinars though. So I was always opportune to register and join those sessions. And it was mostly women talking about how they dealt with imposter syndrome, how they came out of lack of confidence, how they came out of self-doubt, what they needed to do and all of that. That was two. Third is I started reading. I was someone that struggled with reading. So I bought books. No Excuse, Atomic Habits, Execution. The one that struck it was the A Purpose-Driven Life. It was a 30-day challenge. I began to see my purpose in Christ, So that was the biggest confidence changer for me. Yeah. And then lastly, I took a forward program that was for 6 weeks that had, span around communication, problem solving, negotiation, and then I took a lot of free courses on Coursera about communication, just found what was the problem in my lack of confidence, and then started to look for the materials that would help me with that. So that was basically what I did. And I had confident people in my circle, in my workspaces. Yeah. So I made those set of women, those set of people, guys, female, my clique of friends. So before any presentation, we run through the documents and, practice. That helped me a great deal. I hope I answered your question, Etika.
Yes.
Seka, did that answer your question?
Yes, that is very good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, and then secondly, I'll just read out what she wrote in the chat. She said, rejection is part of sales, and not taking no from your customer is a cliche in sales. But I believe we honestly don't discuss the reality in those two terms enough. So while we want to never back down or give up when a customer says no, at the end of the day, if the customer still says no after you've done A to Z in sales, the no is still no, and the customer is not saying yes anytime soon. There's a thin line between becoming a sales nuisance and being a resilient salesperson. And then she said, let's discuss this. Iteka, I don't would want to maybe add to that, like if you maybe want to unmute and speak. Maybe I don't know what exactly the question is. Maybe I don't know if you'd want to unmute and then just ask your question. If you can hear me, Iteka.
Hi, Anabel. Okay. I don't think my network is too good, but if Gift would like you to read it again to her, and I just want us to discuss. Let's talk about it. The bottom line is is the sales nuisance versus the resilient salesperson. Let's just talk about it. So maybe you can read it back to Spike.
So it's clear.
I'm not hearing anything. I don't know if it's my network or it's general.
Gift, can you hear us? Are you there?
It's clear. So the last paragraph cut it. Yeah. Please, 1 minute. Apologies. I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now, Gifts.
Okay, yeah. Apologies. All right. So being a sales nuisance and a sales resilient, we should discuss. Yeah, so I will start off with my experience over the years from trade and from distributors that I manage in terms of sales, yeah. So we also, as a person, need to know when we draw the line to the no and know when to leave. Yeah, even though you have KPIs you want to meet, you just know that this person is not the right person. And I'll give an example. Yeah, so if you know trade fair, you know that trade fair is a market that is highly competitive. And even though we have territories in sales, yeah, there are things that are beyond your control. So there's a particular SKU that other distributors give discounts to customers for them to buy, and also give them credit days on top of that. In fact, unlimited. And you're a distributor.
Can't hear you. I think it's a network.
Gift, can you hear us? I think your network is fluctuating.
I'm back. I think my network is a bit shaky. Am I audible now? Gift, please confirm you can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. All right, so like I was saying, even you, if you are a wholesaler, you won't buy from me. So what do? Any day I'm passing by that woman's plaza, Mommy Chinyere, good afternoon, ma. How are you? I will even sit down there and gist with you. I know you will not buy. Me and you have aligned, but I'll keep marking my territory. And let me tell you what happens often. There are times where this product will become scarce. That their favorite person will not buy. You will be the person that will come to mind because you always go there. So it's not in sales there. I used to tell people I'm in pigeon because I'm an open person and I'm easy. You can relate to me easily. They're not ashamed for sales. That's how I tell my territory managers. If you want to start, you will not deliver anything. You won't deliver nothing. So yes, you would be able to also maintain or have that sense of self-worth for yourself. So that's how you manage it. Then another one, when a customer is then beginning to become abusive or insultive, I'll give an example. I went to a retailer with my DSR. I don't know. She was maybe somebody had angered her before we got there. And I just cracked a joke. And this woman insulted. I said, you apologize to me. You cannot insult me. You cannot. No, you cannot insult me. Why would you insult me? If I'm your daughter, would you do that to me? Is it because I came to sell to you? I'll sell to you and you make profit. Are you dashing me your profit? You know, she apologized and we had good relationship. So you need to, you know, learn to know when to draw the line. That you are a salesperson does not make you a beggar. That you are a salesperson does not make, that you're going to, that you are a salesperson does not make you now be a person that is worthless. Know that you are giving them value for money. So you're not dashing me the money. I'm doing you a great deal by coming to you. So the best you can do is to respect me. Even if you know, I will keep coming, not be angry. If I'm passing, I will greet you. The best you can do is not to greet me. I have dozens of stories of this sales, the balance between sales nuisance and sales resilience. One day it will click, trust me. I hope that answers your question, Etieka.
Yeah, I mean, you made some good points, but I think it's still a long discussion. But you made some very good points, particularly to note when you said the first thing you said before you were cut off, that you need to know when to back down. And this is a very salient point that especially people that are new in sales need to know, because you're hearing from your sales mentor, oh, I can't take no, don't take no. A salesperson doesn't say no. And you're still facing this no, and like you said, sometimes in the not so pleasant form. Sometimes you have customers that will even block you or stop picking your calls. So the new salesperson is confused. Here is my mentor. Here is my line supervisor or my boss. So you don't take no. And here is me and this customer slapping my face with no. That point you made is where I think a lot of C-suites and sales and marketing executives and managers and directors do not emphasize enough, is even when you're in your full sales gear, you're trying to be the resilient salesperson, you still have to apply emotional intelligence then. You still need to know when to back down, or you still need to know when to continue, or you should probably maybe even go and meet your mentor and, explain that this is the situation. Your mentor is more skilled and more knowledgeable. I think at that point, your mentor will tell you, okay, this is what
sales power is,
or this is what you do.
between
But why I wanted us to have that discussion is because that part is not amplified enough. Instead, what you tell every salesperson, don't take no. I don't take no. Keep going. The parts where the emotional intelligence is being put into place is not emphasized enough. And I liked you started with it. So good response. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. But so we can connect outside of this, so that we can have this conversation. But again, what it does for you is, sometimes I don't know your field, but for me, as a salesperson that have customers in trade, and these customers keep telling me no, it saves you on the day you have maybe a senior manager go to trade with you, and maybe you go to the store, you choose to skip the store. What will save you that day is that the store will say, I know am, na me no dey buy. Na me tell am no, It saves you a lot, because it's not like you don't go to the store, or it's not like you've not had conversations with these clients. It's just the client's decisions, and that's like we'll say, customer's preference. You don't force people. You only go to, you don't force them. So once you will get no, and you will get strong no, I know they do. And in a very rude way. So you just go. There's nothing you want to do. Just let your line manager know that this is what it is. Even though they've told you they don't want to hear no, let them know. Invite them to come with you to the store. Maybe they have magic powers or have what to say that will turn the situation. And some customers, once they see 2, 3 people come to their store, they feel very important. And that thing you have been begging the customer for, they will do it. So you might want to invite somebody else to, maybe your line manager, or 2, 3 people to take you to that same store. They feel very important when they see more than one person come to them. And you see them, they might not give a yes, but they'll say, okay, I will think about it. Let's come back. Let's revisit it. Those sort of things. I saw somebody's chat that wanted to weigh in on the conversation.
Hi, Gift. Yeah. So just so we don't, because we still have the third speaker in here, and I think we already, yes. Well, I just wanted to add something. So the part about, not taking no for an answer, I think rejection is not a setback, it's actually a feedback. So the real power of a salesperson, I think, is knowing the difference between a temporary no and a permanent no. That way you're able to handle both with grace and being like emotionally intelligent, like Eteka mentioned earlier. Thank you very much, Gift. I'd like us to move on to the next speaker. If you have any more questions for Gifts, I mean, this isn't over yet. You can always drop your questions in the chat. And like she said, you can also connect, like after this session, you can connect and sort of have like a further conversation. Thank you very much, Gift, for this powerful presentation and for all the knowledge that
Thanks
you
for having
imparted.
me.
Thank you
Thanks
so
for
much.
having me. Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome. Thank you. Now, for our final speaker for today, we'll be diving into the heart of leadership and how women are redefining it in today's sales world. Beatrice is the true game changer. She's a woman who doesn't just lead, but redefines leadership. She is our incredible country representative for Ghana. Remember, I mentioned that we're present in some countries. We're in the US, we're in Kenya, we're in South Africa, we're in Ghana. And in these countries, we have country representatives. So she is the country rep for Ghana. She's also a pharmacist. She's a sales manager and a lawyer whose brilliance and balance of intellect, strategy, and purpose make her a force in the world of sales leadership. So today she'll be speaking on redefining leadership through the voice of women in sales, a topic that challenges us all to lead with courage, confidence, and authenticity. Queens, can we please put together our hands for the dynamic Beatrice, Fredcy, Nyarkoa, Awuah. Thank you so much, Beatrice, for joining us this evening. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm happy to be here, and I'm proud to also be a queen of sales. So I'd want to share my screen so we can start. I also want to say
That's
thank
fine.
to the two earlier speakers. I mean, when Gift was speaking, I was asking myself if the two of us are both sales managers. There should be a way where you classify one person as a junior sales manager and a senior sales manager, because Gift has dropped like a lot of nuggets, and I'm sure we both can't be on the same level as sales managers. But I mean, thank you to Chidinma as well. I'm Ghanaian, so I may not get the proper pronunciations well. Thank you to the two speakers that went before me. I would try as much as possible to stay within the 20 minutes I've been given. So I'll begin to share my screen. Please, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Is it fine?
Yes, this is fine.
Okay, all right. So I'll quickly zoom into what I would be discussing. But basically, we all know that the topic is redefining leadership through the voice of women in sales. So I was actually looking across the sales terrain in Ghana, and I realized that for the pharmaceutical space where I'm in, most of the sales managers and the country managers are actually women. And I mean, I think 10 years before, it wasn't the same story. 10 years before, most of the country managers and sales managers were male. So I'm happy to be part of the women that are changing the status quo when it comes to sales and changing the uh, the the landscape when it comes to sales, because we all know that as women there's this extra that we bring on board when we become salespersons or saleswomen. So this is just a happy picture of across board sales women that attended a sales conference. So just a little background. My name is Bietrix, like Gift mentioned. I'm a pharmacist and a lawyer. I've been a pharmacist for a decade, and I've been a lawyer for a year. So I more relate to the health or the pharmacy space than the law space. And I've been in sales since 2016 formally, but all my life I've been a salesperson. I remember, when I was preparing the slides, I was just casting my mind back to when, for no reason, I would follow our house help. Our house help used to make flat chips and put on her head and, hawk in the neighborhood. And I remember so many times that I would get so excited to jump on with her and just carry some flat chips on my head and make some sales for her. Like, I found it so exciting. In secondary school, I was doing Herbalife. In university, I was selling sandals. Like, I've realized that all through my journey, I've been somebody that likes to sell. And I'm happy that I'm actually doing something now that I'm passionate about, which is sales. So no matter what profession I'm in, if I'm a pharmacist or a lawyer, my core personality is a sales woman, and I'm happy that I'm in the midst of other sales women that I can actually learn from. So very much I'm passionate about sales, and I think that the reason why I love sales so much is the human interaction. So I'm a people's person. I love to laugh, I love to smile, I love to talk. And when you're in sales, you're able to do all of these things. And then what crowns it is the fact that you're also able to make some financial transactions if you are a salesperson. So I love money, I love people, I love patience, and I love value. So that is why essentially I'm in sales. So I'll just zoom right into my opening thoughts. I want us to think about this, that looking at the way the world is moving now, leadership is no longer about being the loudest in the room or being the one who speaks the most. So I actually have like a colleague um in my former portfolio, and he always had something to say. And I know Gift mentioned earlier that you can't be in a room and not have anything to say. It's good to have something to say, but there are some people that just want to talk and just want to talk and just want to talk. And for them, it looks like that is what leadership is. But I just want to also bring our minds to the fact that I've come across some leaders that are soft spoken, leaders that do not talk so much. But whenever they talk, they drop nuggets that you would have to journey through the day with or through the month with. So now leadership is no longer being the loudest in the room. It's about being the person that has the voice that inspires, that connects, and that transforms the lives of people that you're engaging day in and day out as a woman. And I'm happy that women in sales have been given the opportunity to redefine leadership every day. Looking at the way women are naturally wired, there's a certain, um, there's a different twist women bring on board when they are in sales. So in my team now, I have more women who are doing sales than the men, and I see the kind of emotional intelligence they work with. I see how effectively they communicate, and it just reminds me or buttresses the fact that women are better sales women or better salespersons. I'm sure there's no man on the call, but even if there's a man on the call, I know that this is something that the men even know, that even in my company, there are certain customers that when they are difficult, they will just call on the female salespeople to just go to them, and before you know it, these people have come back with results. So it's something that you cannot take away from us. So the old definition of leadership was more of authority, was more of aggression, was more of control. It focused on numbers more than the people and the relationship that came with people. And because of that, you had, short-term wins, you had, long-term disconnections, because we weren't in for the people, we're in for the numbers. And because of that, there's a burnout at the end of the day. But that is not the way to go in this new dispensation. So the new voice of leadership today means leading with empathy, leading with ethics, and building trust and not fear. And who better to lead this than women? We know that women are also naturally empathetic. We naturally put ourselves in people's shoes, and because of that, in some ways, we are better leaders. I've also realized that in dealing with people, women are more compliant, or women like to follow instructions. Like women are we better stick to ethics than men. And this is also something that brings to bear when it comes to leadership. When a woman is a leader and she does it well, it trickles down and everybody is able to, feel their impact. So the new voice of leadership is listening as much as speaking, is valuing connection over control. So the old dispensation of leadership is no longer the case, or is facing out. And this is what leadership looks like now. And like I mentioned before, women bring some emotional intelligence. We are better collaborators. We are naturally not as competitive as men. So we're able to collaborate better, and we're able to perform in a way that is more purpose driven. So I'll just use this to encourage my other colleagues who are probably not yet in management positions, that it's taking a lot of grit, a lot of determination, a lot of resilience to have me transition from being a medical rep, doing consumer health products, doing antibiotics, doing generic products, doing low molecular weight heparin like Clexane. I've kind of like being a sales woman in all the portfolio in Sanofi, and it didn't just happen. It took a lot of hard work. It took a lot of determination, even through my journey in law school up until now as a lawyer. So I just want to encourage us that if we're going to be leaders, and we're going to be leaders that will redefine leadership, we need to see that leadership is not authority, but responsibility. And you also will have to be hardworking. You have to be resilient. You have to be determined if you're going to, show a responsible leadership. So what is the voice of women in sales? Our voice represents empathy, represents integrity. If you take 10 salespeople that, will want to flout rules, or want to flout ethics, 8 or 9 will be male, and just 1 will be female. It tells you that women are naturally the kind of people that will want to, do things right. We hold integrity in very high esteem. And women don't just sell. We make sales by building trust and relationship, and we just don't manage. We inspire growth and collaboration. And that's what good actually looks like. So if you're a woman and you want to redefine leadership, you have to know that the mandate you have is not just to manage. the mandate is to inspire, young women in sales, inspire young men in sales who would believe in themselves and know that there's nothing that, they cannot achieve. I was happy when Gifts mentioned this thing that they say in their church, that today I'm going to be great things are going to happen to me. So we need to encourage the people that report to us, other people in our companies, and know that we cannot succeed if our reps are not succeeding, if our direct reports are not succeeding, if the entire organization is not succeeding. And they'll be able to do this if we are going to encourage them and let them know that, this budget is something that you can achieve. That's why it's been, given to you. So I would, include this. It's good for us to understand that as women, there are certain challenges that we experience on the field. So, or even in the industry. I did some recruitment about 2 weeks ago, and we were recruiting about 3 people, and all the people we chose were women. And then my boss mentioned that, he's not ready to have women that many in the company, because as it stands now, about 2 or 3 women are already pregnant. So it makes us know that there are certain challenges that we experience on the field by virtue of being like female. People will just see you and assume that, oh no, you can't deliver, no, you can't do this, you can't do that. You probably have to take a week in a month to nurse yourself as you go through your period. We are more emotional. You can be at work and you'll be thinking about your relationship, so because of that you cannot be a wonderful a rep. So these are, some of the few challenges we experience on the field, and it's our duty to make sure that these stereotypes are changed. So if you are in a company and you're a woman and there are people around you, have to do the right thing so that they know that, oh, I thought women, will be weaker in certain times of the month. So maybe the employer wouldn't want to like get more women, but you as a woman will have to work hard so that your employer knows that, oh, although women are quote and unquote described as weaker vessels, when you employ us, there's a certain tag, there's a certain benefits that would come by employing us. So we also have the challenge of work-life balance. I'm a mother myself. Sometimes I know what it takes to drop my daughter in school, get to the office to have meetings. Sometimes I have to leave to go and pick her. The days you are off work because you need to take your daughter to or your child to the hospital. So it's not easy, balancing work and balancing our life as women. But it's been done. There's so many people that have done it, and it makes us know that it's also possible. We may not have it all at the same time. But we will definitely have it at the right time. So I mean, these are but a few of the biases or the challenges that we experience on the field, the stereotypes and unequal opportunities for advancements. When there's a promotion, they're looking for somebody that is male or somebody that has finished giving birth, so that the role is not left unoccupied for certain number of months because of maternity leave. And these are practicalities on the ground. There are things that are happening. People are going for interviews and they are qualified, but because they are women, they are not given the opportunity. There was a time that my sister was going for an interview and she was telling me that she wants to take off her wedding ring. And I was like, oh, why would she take it off? And she was telling me that, there are certain companies that when you go and you're wearing a wedding ring or a wedding band, they think that, oh, you're going to get pregnant very soon, or you will not be able to focus on the job and stuff like that. So these are things that are really happening on the ground. And it's also good for us to be in leadership, because if women are in leadership positions, then it means that we know what it is like to be a woman. So when a woman comes for an interview and the men will want to disqualify her based on these kind of biases, you'd be able to also chip in that no, let's not do it this way. Let's not discriminate. Let's not do it that way or this way. So that's also one of the, the good ways we can influence as women when we are in leadership positions, and we are also redefining leadership. So what's the power of authentic leadership? Authentic leadership is being real, not being political, not giving people the impression that you are only being nice to them because of what you want from them, but being genuine with the people you work with, being real, balancing confidence with compassion, letting them know that you truly, truly care. And when you work for a boss, or when you're a leader and you are real, you are able to see better results with your team. Your team members are able to deliver because they know that, okay, Beatrix is our boss and we don't want to let her down. Beatrix is our leader or is our sales manager, and because she loves us genuinely, we are not going to let her down. So the impact of authentic relationship, or I mean authentic leadership, is that you're able to, get more engaged teams. You have loyal customers, you have loyal direct reports, and the business, has the sense that it's centered around the people and not just the numbers. So how can we redefine leadership as women? We need to show up and show up well, and we need to embrace our uniqueness. I'm happy that Gibbs talked about confidence and all of that. You need to be self-aware. You need to be confident. You need to have, a support group, people around you that will push you on when, the tides are low, people that will encourage you, because trust me, in as much as you may be a confident person, there will be days that you will just not feel confident. There are days that you will just not feel like it. So in order to show up fully, you need to have a support system that encourages you and makes you know that you can have a bad day, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you should have a bad life because you have a bad day. And I think for me, mentorship, or creating that opportunity to multiply or impact lives, is what matters so much to me as a female leader. So I want to encourage, like, as many people as possible, that we should not keep to what we have learned all through our lives or in our career. We should make it a point that we are in, like, it doesn't have to be anything elaborate, but we are sharing our lives and we are sharing our experiences with people in a way that they will not make the mistakes that we made in our lives, or we made in our careers, or in our early stages in our career. So one way that we can redefine leadership as women is to mentor someone. Let someone say that because of me, or because of this lady, I am here, or I am there. Because of this lady, I'm a better woman. Because of this lady, I'm taking my life more seriously. Let's begin to sow seeds of greatness in people and speak life into them, especially the younger women, because for us in our 30s or in our 40s, we know what life looked like when we were in our 20s or when we were in our teens. So what good leadership will look like is when we're able to identify people. Of course, you cannot do it for everyone, but identify one or two women that you want to sow into their lives. You want to speak life into them. You want them to know that they can achieve whatever it is that they set their minds to achieve. And I think one way we can also redefine leadership is, leading with ethics, leading with integrity, your yes being your yes. I think about 2 to 3 months ago, someone in my company had seen an opportunity for making money, and we are paid in the city equivalent of the euro, and the euro came so low that our salaries got cut by more than 30%. And in this moment, someone in my office had pitched an idea to me to make some extra money, which was non-compliant. So I thought about it and I'm like, no, Imagine I agree to do this thing. What is this person going to think in his head that all this noise that you are making here that people should do the right thing, you are also going to fall for, something like this. So what women can do to redefine leadership is to, do the right thing, no matter how difficult it is. It may be tempting, but you look at the bigger picture, or you look at the future and ask yourself that, well, will I want someone to, see me in this light because of $1,000 or because of $500? So we need to lead with ethics. We need to lead with empathy, and we need to be excellent. When you do things and you do them excellently, you are able to drive better results. And it's a brand that you're building for yourself. It's good that you'll be tagged or you'll be seen as somebody that exudes excellence. So these are, just a few people. Can you see my screen? Hello, please, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear
Okay,
you.
okay, okay.
Yes, we can hear
Sorry,
you.
my dad was calling me. So, these are, some of the women that have inspired me, and I think have redefined leadership in, their various industries. It's good that, you identify some people that you can read about and pick some learnings from them, because as we started showing signs of greatness, this is not where we want to end. We want that in the next 10 years, when they are talking about salespeople that are, changing the sales industry across Africa, across the world, some of our names will be mentioned. And we can't be great till we are able to learn a thing or two from the women ahead of us that have, gone ahead of us to do great things. So collectively, we would have to redefine leadership as collaboration and not competition. There are times where people believe that, women are competitive. When there's a woman in a space and she sees another woman coming, she has this sense of the one coming to take her spot or coming to take her shine. But it's beautiful if we all coexist and we all shine, because there's something I will bring on board that gifts will not bring on board. There's something gifts will bring on board that I may never get close to bringing on board. So each one of us has something unique that we can bring on board. And it's good that you would identify that and know that women coexisting, it has nothing to do with being competitive. We need to lead with grace. We need to lead with charisma. We need to, bask in our softness, but being very firm and courageous. We need to also inspire a culture of trust, innovation, and inclusion if we're going to redefine leadership. And I want to, say this emphatically, that when women lead authentically, everyone everyone truly wins. So your voice is not an echo, it's an instrument of change. Use it to inspire confidence amongst women, amongst men. Use it to build trust with your clients, with your customers, with your direct reports, with your managers, and then let's collectively redefine leadership in sales and beyond. Thank you so much, and I'd be happy to take questions or comments. Over to you, Gifts.
Thank you, Beatrice. That was very, 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 very awesome. Thank you very much. I like how you beautifully captured how leadership today is less about hierarchy and more about influence and empathy. You also said leadership is no longer about being the loudest in the room, that it's about being the voice that inspires, connects, and transforms others. You spoke about mentorship, and there's something I always see that if you're looking to grow in your career or any field, it's very, very like necessary to have a mentor. You know how when you have a role model, subconsciously, without even realizing, you tend to either dress like them or try to speak like them. So it's actually very, very, very important to have a mentor. Thank you very much for that powerful presentation, Beatrice. If you have any question for Beatrice, we're already out of time. If you have any question for her, please raise your hands and just ask your question, or you can drop them in the chat. I can just read it out for her to answer. Do we have any questions for Beatrice?
Okay, so just want to thank Beatrice. It was nice hearing from you, and love your Ghanaian accent, by the way.
Okay.
I don't know if you can share the slides with us. That would be helpful. And then just like what you said
Yeah.
about females in leadership positions or as sales executives everywhere. We already have, can I say, like something working against us, gender bias, and then the things that we have to cope with as women. Take for instance, you're having a bad day, it's that time of the month, and to your the men in our field, they don't go through these things that we go
Oh,
through.
they can.
There are some
Yeah.
peculiarities that we face as women. Okay, so I just want you to talk more about how you've been able to cope, with these challenges as a woman in a male-dominated field. How have you been able to navigate it?
Hmm.
What are some of those, key things that have worked for you that you've been able to do as a woman in this field?
Okay. I think I wish I had I wish I had a hard and fast answer to that. I think I do a lot of self-talk. I talk to myself a lot before I sleep, when I'm standing in front of the mirror. And I naturally like to achieve. So like when I note something down or I put in my mind that I want to achieve something, I'm usually self-talking till I achieve it. But I will also not want to take all the credit because I have an amazing support system. So my parents, my siblings, everybody is encouraging me. My husband, everybody encourages me. So even when it gets like tough, I know that these are words that, or these are people that will speak words into me. And also I rest. I take a chill pill. I mean, I'm not the one coming to save my country. I'm not the one coming to save the world. So when I get tired, I rest. When I'm not, like, when we're having this back and forth as to whether to keep chasing a customer when they have said no, we need to accept that there are things we will not win. And then you go back to the drawing board and see that, okay, what can I do differently? Is this somebody that I can forget about and focus on another customer that can give me same or better results? I'm just saying this to come to the points that when I can't win or when I can't achieve something, I accept that, no, you have achieved ABCD, but this one is not for you to achieve. And I talk to myself and I accept that you can't be it all. I mean, in a lighter note, you can't be it all. It's not everything that you'll be able to do, or it's not everything that you'll be able to achieve. You will not always have a good day, but it's that self-talk and encouraging yourself, being strong in the mind, reading books that will let you know that for the things that you've been called to do, you will do them and do them effortlessly. But when you are facing a stumbling block, you can sometimes retreat and then look at a few things and come back. So I rest a lot and I travel a lot. I try as much as possible when I have money to travel twice outside of Ghana a year. When I don't have money, I'll do once. But since I started working from 2016, every single year, by the grace of God, I travel. And when I travel, I make sure that I rest. I enjoy the scenery. I make sure I'm at a good place, so that when I resume work and I'm working like I'm an animal. But I know when to tell myself that, nah, this is not it. Let me just retreat and go back to the drawing board and see what can work and what cannot work. So I'm not hard on myself, and that's what I think we should learn. We should learn to be softer to ourselves. I think we are sometimes too hard on ourselves, and take a day at a time. I think I'm done. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Beatrice. Thank you for that answer. Eteka, I hope that answers your question. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. What an inspiring, session this has been. Thanks to all our incredible speakers, Beatrice, Chidinma, and Gift, for sharing such practical wisdom on building relationships, confidence, and leadership. This conversation has been such a reminder that sales excellence is not just a skill, but a mindset. So today's conversation was supposed to last for just 2 hours. Apologies it took this long, but I actually loved how engaging the session was. And thanks to everyone who joined and to everyone who stayed till the end. To every woman watching this, remember that your voice, your confidence, and your relationships are your superpower in sales. Until next time, stay bold, stay brilliant, and keep selling with heart. Keep leading with empathy, and see you in our next Queen of Sales Fire chat. Thank you, everyone, for joining today's call. Thank you, and God bless you
Thank
all.
you. Bye.
Bye.